Hey everyone. So within our approach, we make neuromechanical distinctions between the behaviours that allow for forces to be distributed through or across broad surface areas, and behaviours that allow for forces to be produced and concentrated in one direction. Okay. Now, of course, these general distinctions need to be coupled with the unique movement capacities of the client that the client's expressing. So some clients might need more force distribution or sharing qualities, and some clients may need more force producing qualities, more force production qualities. But the general framework that we follow involves restoring these force distribution qualities first. Okay, so if the client is missing them, or if the client is missing any particular force distribution behavior across the lower limb or upper limb, across the midline, then what we want to try and do initially is restore them, but then we want to try and hold on to them as long as we can as we progress into force production strategies. Okay. Now, if we look at the foot, for example, expressing that pronation behavior at the foot, which is an internal rotation behavior of the foot, it's an important behavior to allow for a distribution of forces, as it's more of an adaptable position, if you like. So we're allowing for that calcaneus to avert, we're allowing for that midfoot to open and become more adaptable while we handle load through the first metatarsal heads. And this gives the foot options to distribute forces. Okay, while if you think of more of a supination behavior as more of a rigid foot behavior with less movement options, and so it's great for helping us concentrate forces in one particular direction. But what we want to do here is take you through some early plyometric strategies that we use a lot to help clients begin to manage impact forces. Okay, but what we can also do here as well is manipulate the swing leg during the strategies to change where load is being distributed through the foot, as well as change the behavior of the foot itself. Okay, depending on what you find during your assessment and what you're actually trying to facilitate across the treatment and rehab process. So obviously, if we're looking to restore force distribution behavior, we're looking at the capacity to hold on to pronation behavior at the foot first. Okay, now this will obviously change if you have a client that's already well able to express pronation behavior, and maybe they lack more supination behavior, then maybe the progression will be a little bit different. But with this strategy here, what you can see is that we're beginning from a very, very low hover position of the foot. Okay, so if you see that foot is starting just a couple of inches, 2-3 inches off the ground, this still allows us to deal with those impact forces at the foot as the foot collides with the ground, but the intensity is still quite low. Okay, so we're still able to take advantage of some of those elastic qualities of the foot without increasing too much load on the foot itself or on the limb itself. Okay, now the key thing here is that if we want to express more pronation behavior or hold on to that pronation behavior at the foot, then we can manipulate the swing leg. Okay, so what you're going to see here is you're going to see that swing leg moving towards 11 o'clock. And that swing leg moving towards 11 o'clock allows for the pelvis or causes the pelvis to be displaced to the left. Okay, and when the pelvis is displaced to the left, it's going to facilitate that distribution of load into the medial portion of the foot. Okay, so again, it can help us facilitate that distribution of load into the medial portion of the foot and facilitate that pronation behavior. Okay, so a great one to start off with to challenge those qualities at the foot. But then we can progress into more of a driving the swing leg into a straight direction towards 12 o'clock. Now, we still want the client to have the capacity to maintain that ability to distribute that load to the first metatarsal head, especially if you're dealing with clients, post ankle sprain, where oftentimes they may distribute that load into the lateral board of the foot far too early, and we may lose that capacity to maintain that load through the medial portion of the foot. We sometimes might have to spend more time on this strategy here before progressing into the more 12 o'clock direction. Okay, but we're still maintaining that low hover position here. And then the last progression will be moving that swing leg or driving that swing leg towards 1 o'clock. Okay, this is going to help facilitate more of a displacement of the pelvis to the right side, which is going to help facilitate that supination behavior distally at the foot. Okay, but we still want to make sure that we're able to maintain that load through the first metatarsal head as we contact the elevated surface with the left lower limb. Okay, so we show you that again. good more time. So we're really attacking the ground with this as well. But because we're starting from a low hover position, again, it's not going to drive that much load or distribute that much force onto the right foot itself. So it's a great starting point to allow us to deal with and manage those impact forces, whilst also manipulating the local behaviour in the foot.